Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Looking forward to 2013.
Happy New Year 2013!
Hi, Happy New Year! Happy 2013.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Hey!
Hello from British Columbia. Can you believe that it's already 2013? My goodness! I remember last January, exactly a year ago, we set up our first VRS rally. We wanted to let the CRTC know that we wanted to be listened to, and we wanted VRS set up here in Canada. Do you remember that? It was a year ago. It seems like it went by in a flash. Here we are in a new year, and people tend to take this time to reflect upon what's happened in the last year, what they've learned, where they can improve, changes that they can make in their lives, and they set up new goals for themselves for the future year. It's the same with us at BCVRS. We've come together and we've talked about what we can do. It's been a very emotional year, the last year. We've come together as a family and we've spent a lot of time discussing what we can do, thinking about future goals. BCVRS feels that we've taken on a lot over the last little while. We're a small committee of 8 people who've been working together. Currently, across Canada, the other provinces don't have committees like ours. What's happening is it's causing Canadians to look to BCVRS, and that is quite a lot for us. But we are willing to go ahead and do this. We want to do this for other Canadians because we firmly believe in our own right to choose our telecommunication preferences. We know that other countries have the technology already available, and we feel that we should be with them leading the way. It's something that we want to fight for. It has come to our realization that even with the outreach and education we have provided, thus far the Canadian government does not fully understand the benefits that video relay services would provide, not only to deaf Canadians, but to all Canadians. Because the government is unfamiliar with the issues that we face, it means that for the next year, we're going to have to spend more time keeping ourselves busy and educating them. With your community support and your valued support, we will be able to do this regardless of committees in other provinces. So go out to your communities, join with us, and show the government that we do have tremendous support across Canada. We feel that we will be successful in 2013, and we are very excited to what the new year is going to bring. As we get our updates, we will absolutely be sharing them with you.
Now we're going to talk about some of the things that happened in 2012. In the fall, Canada had a VRS Awareness Day. After that, the BCVRS committee convened and talked about what we were going to do for the coming year, 2013.
That's right, Nigel. We met several times with a variety of key people, such as those in media, politicos, and the like, to get some much needed advice and guidelines as to what we should do for the 2013 year and beyond.
Just get some ideas and some feedback so you're ready.
That's right. We planned basically what we would do for 2013.
And on December 18th, we planned to have a meeting with the CRTC where Lisa and I would sit down with them. But unfortunately, Vancouver got a huge dump of snow. Now, when you imagine a huge dump of snow here in Vancouver, we mean a few inches, really. You know what Vancouver is like. Just a little bit of snow and the whole city is rendered useless. So we had to postpone the meeting until sometime in late January. So we're hoping that we will be able to meet with them again at the end of the month, and we will keep you posted.
I'd be very curious to know what comes from that meeting. Do you remember last year we spoke about the Private Members Bill, M305? Do you remember that announcement?
Yeah. Do you mind explaining what that is exactly?
Well, essentially, it means any Canadian, any person who lives in the country who has an issue, they can approach their MP and ask their MP to present it in the House of Commons, where that member's bill would then be changed within the House of Commons, within the system. So if you want to, you have to speak to the MP who would bring forth an issue of concern, who would then bring it to the attention in the House of Commons. That's what a private member's bill is. Mr. Peter Julian, who is the MP in my riding, he represents Burnaby New Westminster. He is the BC MP, and he drafted the M305. Now, the wording is a bit outdated, and the petition will be amended to reflect current information.
Peter Julian has developed the petition with all the necessary changes and presented it to the government. It was agreed on, printed, and circulated in Canada. It's required to be in a printed form and not online. This is what the new petition looks like. In Canada, there are a total of 312 MPs, also referred to MPPs, or members of provincial parliament in some provinces. We really need to approach our MPs with the issue and explain to them why VRS is necessary. Our goal is to reach 156 members of parliament in order to present a strong case to the government.
That's right, Nigel. Which means that you individually have to approach your MPs, essentially educate them. This might be your first time, but you have to start somewhere, and you want to explain what the VRS system is all about. You can go back to your MP a second time to update him or her on the activities of the committee.
Is there a limit on how many times you can approach your MP?
No, there isn't. You can go as many times as you want.
That's a great idea.
In other words, you approach your MP and you must ask for something very specific, which is a letter. And that letter will be a letter that's in support of the VRS service in Canada.
So the MP has to write the letter?
Yes, that's right. And that letter essentially will say they support the VRS services in Canada.
Good idea.
Yeah. But there will be more information coming later on how to go about doing that.
That petition that I just showed you, if you're wondering how to get signatures or how many you need, all you need is 25 or more signatures in your own home constituency. So the area where you live, 25 or more people, which isn't a lot. You can go to your neighbors, your friends, anybody in the area, anybody you may have come in contact with can sign that petition. So across Canada in each constituency, so it's 156 in each one, we need 25 or more petitions. And if we have that or more, we will be able to present a strong case for the M305.
You might be wondering how many MPs are across the country, and each province has its own breakdown. In Nunavut, there is one MP. In Yukon, there is also one. In the Northwest Territories, there is one also. In BC, there are 37 MPs. Alberta has 29. Saskatchewan has 14. Manitoba has 14.
There's a lot of people in Ontario. They have 108 MPs, or MPPs as they would call them there. Quebec has 75. Newfoundland and Labrador has 7. Nova Scotia has 11. And PEI has 4. New Brunswick has 10 MPs.
You might be also wondering how to contact your local MP, and there is a website available for your convenience.
So where do we go from here? First, get in touch with your local MP and arrange a meeting. You can ask your Member of Parliament to provide an interpreter for the meeting. You have a right to request that. And it is their responsibility to provide the interpreter and pay for their services. It's not something you should have to concern yourself with. So that when you do have your meeting, you have free and easy communication. Or if you are an interpreter yourself and you're interested in being a part of the cause, then by all means, meet with a Member of Parliament yourself and join the movement to try and rally them. Really, anybody in Canada can be part of this.
You're right, Nigel. It can be a family member, a friend, a neighbor, your roommate, anyone really.
Really? How about a dog?
Well, I wish I could get a signature from a dog.
Oh, shoot.
If you're wondering where to get the information that you'd like to give to the MP, where that information can be found, and how to explain the VRS service to that MP, we have established a BCVRS website, and all of that information, documents, and necessary links will be available. Currently, that website isn't available. It's still under development, but it will be at the end of this month.
So all of the research has already been done for you. You don't need to go out and look for it. It's all there on the website. All you need to do is print it off and use it. It's very cool.
You're right. It's conveniently located. One place. Everything is all there for you.
It's smart.
While we're waiting for that website to be completed, there are a number of things that you could do. For example, you could write a letter.
That's right. It's not only the MPs we need to speak to. You can send a letter to the CRTC across Canada in your home province. Just write a letter and send it off and let them know that you want VRS set up. And the information is on that website. You can take it from the website, add whatever you like, sign it, and send it to them.
There will be a template letter that will be available on that website, so you merely have to download it, change the necessary information, add your comments and opinions, and send it off. It's really critical that you copy that letter that you send to the Minister of Industry, and this is the address.
Now, why is it important to include the Minister of Industry?
Yeah, the Minister of Industry has a very important role. You see, the CRTC and the Minister of Industry don't work side by side. The Minister of Industry has power over the CRTC.
So the CRTC is beneath the Minister of Industry?
That's correct. And so the Minister of Industry has power to push agendas forward within the CRTC.
Oh, so the Minister of Industry really has a lot of power. They can decide whether they support or are against a motion. So if a decision comes down from them to the CRTC, then the CRTC must go with their decision.
That's right. In your letter to the Minister of Industry, include the names of these individuals here.
Great.
So another interesting note is that the political parties across Canada, the NDP, the Conservatives, as well as the Liberals, we have representatives from a couple of the parties. Within the NDP party, we do have a representative, Peter Julian, who has voiced his support in regards to the VRS being set up across Canada. Within the Conservative Party, we also have Mark Warrawara, who has shown his support. And so what we're looking for, and what we feel is really important for deaf Canadians across Canada, is to also have a representative from the Liberal Party. To have one representative who's willing to get involved and do their part and support among the three parties to help get the VRS established.
Exactly. There will be more in-depth information provided later on how to bring about this change that we're talking about. What we really need here are allies, and these are people who can work together to bring about the service, to show support for all Canadians, whether this be a deaf person, hard of hearing, deaf blind, even a neighbor, your family members, friends, interpreters. We should all work together and go and meet with our MPs to bring about the change that we want when it comes to VRS services for Canadians.
Also, I think it's important to mention that this is not just the cause of the NDP party. This is for all the parties within Canada. All three of them should come together and show their support and get active to better enable the establishment of VRS in Canada. This is a nonpartisan issue. All three need to get together and be active, otherwise this won't be successful. It's up to you to meet with your MPs in your local areas to get them to show their support of VRS services within Canada.
You know, there are some people out there who would like to see VRS services established overnight. But you know, these things take time.
It's a process.
Right. Historically, we've had a number of cases that have been very successful and have taken several years. Now, for example, the MRC, the TTY service, and we fought long and hard to get that service created, the MRS or the MRC service and that center. And that took us 5 years. Finally, we managed to get the center created. 5 years.
Imagine that, 5 years. Following MRS, you may remember that I had sued a university to make sure that they provided interpreting services. And that was a long struggle. That was a full 2 years. And at the completion of that, I was successful. And now colleges and universities provide interpreting services. Following that was the establishment of MIS services, medical interpreting services. In the beginning stages, we were denied services. But after taking it to court, we finally were approved, and medical interpreting services are now provided for all medical appointments. You have to understand that was 7 years that we fought and fought, but in the end we were successful.
All of those situations took a long time, and there was another case here in BC called the Jericho Hill School for the Deaf, where abuse had taken place, and the individual claimants got together and formed a class action. And they fought to have a class action created, and they were successful, but that didn't happen overnight either. That took 9 years. That was very difficult, and no one gave up.
So for all of you that would love to see VRS set up overnight within 1 day, unfortunately it's not likely to happen. This is going to take education on our part to MPs, to political leaders across Canada, and we will be successful when we come together to have VRS set up. But unfortunately it's not happening tomorrow.
Well, I wish it were.
But hopefully it won't be too long in the future.
That's right. Soon is the key word.
It's important to be patient, to stay together, to work together, and just to work through each step.
Yes, we got to hang in there and work together.
Indeed.
If we go at this alone, we won't be successful. It's really important that we work together.
So these were some successful cases that have happened. They're part of our history. We've had to go out and fight for what we've needed, always unsure of when these fights are going to occur. But what matters is the people who are involved had passion, and they kept up the fight. What does that mean for BCVRS? It means that we need to reach out to you and ask for your support. We know that people are anxious to have services offered. And we know that people often feel that they need to do something, that they want to be involved. We're looking for ideas, for feedback. If you're in a province that doesn't have a chapter, why not come together with other people who are passionate about this and start your own chapter? Through this, we'll end up with chapters in each province. As our numbers grow, the government will take note. And hopefully to them, they will realize that this is an issue that needs to be a priority. As that happens, and as our number grows, we're hoping that we can come together as a group and go to the government. If you're at home wondering what you can do, reach out, ask questions, talk to your friends, your family, co-workers, your spouse. And spread the word. Let people know what's going on. Educate your member of parliament and other parliamentarians. The more education we provide, the faster awareness will spread. At this point, I guess my question for you is, do you want video relay services in Canada? Really? Now it's time to take action. Thank you.